Alright, so tonight we are going to review linear inequalities and how to solve and graph them. So first thing that we need to know is that, sorry, the board's a little dirty. When we're talking about linear inequalities, we're talking about less than or equal to, greater than, and greater than or equal to. Alright, so we want to draw the graph for each inequality. We have x is less than or equal to -4. So you have a number line, but let me draw one. So I have a number line. I have to put the arrows on. If a number line is not given, then you do have to draw it. Go to -4, so you're going to have to draw right in -4. Write in a couple numbers on each side. And then plot x is less than or equal to -4 is going to be a closed circle because it's less than or equal to. If it was just less than, it would be open circle. And all the numbers that are less than -4 is going to be everything to my left here. And then draw your arrow. Now for this one, you might notice that we have -5 is less than x. This is not written the normal way that you see it. So if this is confusing to you, you can rewrite it. In order to rewrite it, you want to have x on the left-hand side. So I switch my x and my -5, and my sign here is opening up to x, so it still has to open up to x when I switch it. So I now have x is greater than -5. These two mean exactly the same thing. If I plugged in 5 here, this would be a true statement. If I plugged in 5 here, this would be a true statement. So now to plot this, go to -5, plot some points around it. Give me at least 3 on each side, please. And then now I have an open circle because I don't have or equal to. So if I plug -5 in here, -5 is greater than -5, it's not a true statement. So I have to have an open circle. And I'm looking at x is greater than -5, so I'm going everywhere to the right. All of these values are greater than -5. Alright, now we want to write an inequality for each graph. So first thing I have to find is where my value is, right there at -6. So I have -6, and I have all the values to the left. These are all values smaller than -6. So x is less than -6. I have less than because I have an open circle, so I don't have or equal to. Over here, I'm looking at 2, and all the values that are larger than 2, so x is bigger than, so x is greater than 2. Alright, so let's practice. Solve and graph inequalities. So first thing I need to do is solve it. So I have to distribute my -5. -5 times -7x is 35x. -5 times 2 is -10x. Greater than or equal to, and then bring down your -40 plus 5x. Alright, now it does not matter which one you move over next. You can subtract 35x, you can subtract 10x, or add 10x. You can add 40, or you can subtract 5x. I'm going to subtract 5x just so that my x is positive. It does not matter where you go as long as you keep all of your like terms together. So I get 30x. Oh, did I write minus 10x there? That should just be -10. Sorry about that. 30x minus 10 is greater than or equal to -40. My 5x and -5x cancels out. Now, it does matter, and I want to move my 10 over so that I have like terms. 30x is greater than or equal to -30. Divide by 30. So x is greater than or equal to -1. So now I have to plot it, because whenever you're dealing with inequalities, we're dealing with more than one answer. So I have to go to -1, plot values around it. That would be 0, 1, 2, and -2, -3, etc. And this is greater than or equal to, so it's going to be a closed circle, and then to the right. And now over here, let's change the color up a little bit. We have -4 times 3x is -12x. -4 times 5 is -20. Is greater than negative 116. I have to add 20 to both sides. Add 20. I get negative 12. X is greater than negative 96. So I divide by negative 12. Now you have to be very careful when you divide by a negative, because with inequalities you have to flip the sign when you divide or multiply by a negative number. So I now get x, flip my sign to less than, is less than negative 96 divided by 12 is negative 8. So now I need to plot my number line, and I get negative 8 here, negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, negative 9, negative 10. X is less than, so I have an open circle now because it's less than, and all the numbers that are less than negative 8 is going to be to the left-hand side. So big part here, when you divide or multiply by a negative number with inequalities, I should have a negative there. Oops, did I make a mistake? I did make a mistake. This should be positive 8. Alright, let's erase that. So this should actually be positive 8, 9, 10, 11. Sorry, someone was knocking on my door and distracted me. Okay, there we go. So when you divide by a negative number or multiply, you have to flip the sign here, and every single time. Alright, to try this, so please hit pause and give these two a try. And when you're finished, hit unpause, and for the first one, you should get x is less than or equal to 4, and for the second one, you should get x is less than negative 4.